It's time for the 2015 Lay's Potato Chip Tasting Contest thing that they do. Canadian version. Time for my final thoughts on the Lay's Taste Test Competition, the Do Us a Flavor, whatever they call it, thing. As you can see, all the bags are empty now. And so, yeah, let's go over them one by one. And I will give you my final thoughts on them, not just my initial ones, and tell you who I picked. So, first up was Montreal smoked meat. After eating it, you know, going through it and eating a bunch of the chips, I will say the taste remained consistent. It didn't change. It was what it was from the beginning to the end. You know, the more you ate it, it didn't change. So credit there. That's a good thing. Though I will say, after you've had a lot of them, kind of sat in your stomach, gave you a little bit of gut rot, so I don't know about that. And you know, all said and done, I couldn't eat a lot of it, even though I did enjoy the flavor. I ate well, you know, pretty much a bag of chips, and yeah, I was hurting. I was hurting probably halfway through this bag. And it's definitely because of the chips. You know, same type of eating through all of this, so it wasn't like I was full already and then I decided to eat these chips. No, I was eating these and all the same type of thing. This was what, you know, got my stomach. It really filled me up. And the flavor and everything, it got to my stomach to a point where I was like, oh, you know what? I like this, but a small bag. A small bag would be good. You know, the kind you get in a convenience store. So, big bag of Montreal smoked meat, not so sure. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, you know, really. Next up was purple for butter chicken. And when it comes to the butter chicken, it was, like I said, it was very subtle when you just, you know, a couple at the beginning. But the flavor really intensified the more you ate. And the more you ate and the more you ate. And it was odd because it literally got to a point where it tasted like butter chicken. Like it was really, really good. And it wasn't super, super strong like you might expect, but it was still, the flavor was there. Like it was a prominent flavor in my mouth, you know, after he'd eaten a bunch of it. Problem, you take a drink, flavor's gone. You're starting right back at zero. So, you know, over the course of eating butter chicken Lay's potato chips out of a big bag, I probably got to really good flavor maybe 3 times, and, you know, drink back to zero. So yeah, you really do, if you like the butter chicken, you really kind of do have to eat an entire big bag of it just to enjoy it, to enjoy the flavor of it. So yeah, I mean, that's a good thing for Lay's. It means that they're gonna, you know, sell a lot of big bags of chips if you know, people are into it, but not so good for your waistline, I guess. So yeah, that's where that ended. I really liked the flavor there. Next up was the PEI scallop potatoes. This one, consistent. Again, just like the Montreal smoked meat, consistent flavor all the way through. First chip was the same as the last chip. Didn't matter how many you had to eat. It wasn't as heavy as I thought it would be. Like, scallop potatoes can be pretty heavy, meal type thing, but it still sat. I'm not saying it wasn't heavy. It was still heavy, but it wasn't as heavy as I thought it would. It still sat in your gut, but it wasn't, you know, like, it didn't, it filled me up. It filled me up. It really got in there and it filled me up, and I felt, even though these are all still just potato chips, I don't know, something about it. Yeah, it sat there. It didn't really, it wasn't giving me gut rot like Montreal smoked meat, but it was sitting there, and it was weighing heavy. So, but other than that, the flavor, you know, like I said, like the flavor right off the bat, it stayed, you know, good flavor, right to the end. And then finally we've got Cowboy Barbecue Beans, the baked beans chip. That was wavy and not flat like the other ones. I did like the change up to the ripple chip. I thought that was quite nice. It had strong taste. I would say that it didn't quite intensify all the way through, but it didn't take long for it to get to, you know, sort of a really drastic curve to a plateau of flavor with eating these ones. I would say they would probably be good at actually using as, you know, baked beans as the dip. Oddly enough, I actually thought about that eating these. It was like, oh yeah, I could eat these, you know, and do the barbecue beans. The real big downside on this one, it was the only one that had a real strong aftertaste, and it lingered for quite a while. So, yeah, which one would I choose, eh? Let's get them all back here. So, which one would I choose out of all of these flavors? Well, I'm gonna, as much as I like the flavor on this one, yeah, I'm gonna say no. I thought it, you know, the flavor was original. It had some mustard, it had the meat, it was all there. But like I said, gave you the gut rot, and I couldn't eat a lot of it, so had to pass on that. Cowboy baked beans. I was hoping it would have been sweeter. Had it been sweeter, this might have been a lot better. As it was, the flavor, I can still smell it. It still can still smell the baked beans. But yeah, it was good. It just wasn't great. It didn't really, out of all the flavors, this one didn't really, it was my least favorite, though it was probably the most consistent in terms of a chip. The butter chicken. Butter chicken would have likely have won. I really liked the flavor once I got to it. But I'm not going to buy an entire bag of chips just to taste what I want to taste maybe 3 times. If they had managed to figure out a way to make it so that this tasted like really good butter chicken from the first chip to the last, consistent flavor, butter chicken would have won, but they didn't. They didn't do that. So that leaves me with the PEI scallop potatoes, which is essentially, it's like I said, it's a cheese chip. That's what it is. The flavor wasn't anything crazy new, but at the same time, it was consistent. Yeah, it was a cheese chip. I mean, if you've ever had cheese chips, that's essentially what it was, and so it wasn't really weird. That's where my vote goes to. So yeah, now you know. Have you tried any of the flavors? Let me know down below, which one did you pick if you tried them all. Did you vote? Post a comment down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts were on the 2015 Lay's Do Us a Flavour Canada Taste Test Competition. Till next video, guys. Take care. Have a good one.